Mark, look, all of them at this point, Mark, we have had some big ones, but I will tell you that big one that you were stuck in, as a matter of fact, was on eastbound I-30 at Loop 12 and also causing issues 35E southbound right at Brookhaven. Same thing on that northbound side. And here's another live look at that one issue that we had at Colorado Boulevard as folks are trying to get into downtown Dallas, moving through parts of the Oak Cliff area. Before you get to the Dallas Zoo, you're going to see multiple problems spread out. 635 westbound at Jupiter. All lanes still blocked, that big rig scattered across the highway. You know what? This is on Facebook, social media, so I can relax a little bit. Let me get these graphics to load and stay on air longer so y'all can actually see what is happening with some of these incidents, because we've had way too many to count, but I at the very least want to make sure that we can actually see what's going on, all right? So that's 35E at Colorado Boulevard. And MedStar, by the way, tweeted early on this morning, if we can come over here, they tweeted early on this morning that they had 50 plus incidents that they had to respond to from overnight. I'm sure that number has went up. Now, I know we have someone on the line from MedStar. I want to go ahead and speak to them. Let's see who we're speaking with here. I'm going to get on camera. Okay, here we go. Matt Zavosky from MedStar. Good morning to you, Matt. Look, I know we've had several issues. You just heard me mention some of those numbers. Can you give me an update on what you guys have been seeing out there in Fort Worth, Tarrant County?
I'm sorry, I'm having a little hard time hearing you.
Can you hear me now, Matt?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Give me an update for me, please, on how many crews you have out working and what you've been seeing this morning.
This morning has probably been one of the worst driving mornings that we have seen throughout the entire storm because of the ice that occurred overnight, as you guys have been reporting. We have multiple ambulances on the street right now. Actually, we've responded up to 56 car crashes with injuries since 6 o'clock last night. Now that compares to 17 crashes the entire 24-hour period before that. So we really encourage your viewers, put on a second pot of coffee. The sun's coming up, give it a little bit of time. The number of car crashes that are occurring are just staggering.
Spoke with you before, we were talking about for those people who do have to hit the roads this morning, that is, what advice do you have for those individuals?
If they do have to drive, plan for it to take longer than you anticipate, typically 2 to 3 times as long until the roads begin to melt. Make sure that you are giving your undivided attention to driving. Don't drive distracted. The road conditions change 1 foot to the next on these roadways. One of the reasons why we see so many rollovers is because people start to slide on the ice, then they hit a dry patch or hit the curb and they flip over. So we really want people to be very cautious and pay attention to the road conditions. Don't drive distracted, and please slow down. So many of these crashes are just because people were driving too fast for conditions. They weren't able to react appropriately when the car starts to slide, and the next thing you know, they're in an accident. So we just want to really avoid that from happening.
And Matt, I really want to thank you for your time this morning. You and your crews have really just been putting in so much work this week. I remember earlier this week when we spoke to you, I believe that was on Tuesday or Wednesday, one day earlier, and you mentioned that you guys had suspended sirens, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that still the case this morning when you're responding?
Still the case. So we don't want people to crash trying to get out of our way. We can't drive any faster than anybody else just magically because we have lights and sirens operating. So we figure it's better to slow down, not risk crashing on the way to the call, because the ambulance that never gets to you can't help you. We've had a number of ambulances involved in crashes just by regular driving, and this will also prevent other drivers from having to try and move out of our way with an emergency vehicle approaching, and then those drivers get into a crash because, again, they're trying to move out of the way, merge back into traffic. So we're trying to avoid all of that by just using regular rules of the road to go to our calls and just get there as safe as possible.
And Matt, pardon me, I had my producers, you know, we got a lot going on. You know, you're familiar with TV. So I had my producers talking to me during part of what you mentioned. Did you say that y'all have had a number of ambulances also involved in crashes because they're trying to get to these calls?
Right, and the crashes occur either because they're trying to get to somebody's call and the roads are just terrible and they slide off the road, hit the curb, do those types of things. We've had ambulances that have been hit, just like you see police cars and other vehicles get hit on scenes of calls because people can't stop. But we always say it's a good day when we respond to more crashes than we're involved in. So it's always a good day.
I know that's right. Well, Matt, again, thank you to you and your team. And for those who are watching us at home, please stay off the roads if you can. Matt, I want to wrap this thing up from MedStar. Thank you again for joining us. Let's go ahead and finish this traffic report that I've been trying to tell you guys about this